to Drumchapel St.Andrew's virtual church. I hope things are good with you, and welcome to our virtual church. This will be the second last of our virtual church. Next week we're going to end as we reduce restrictions and move towards normality. It feels like this is a good time to finish our virtual services. Obviously, there's still possibilities in the future depending on how things play out in our lives, but at the moment we're looking towards the end of virtual church next Sunday. Thank you so much for being part of our church family online. It has just been wonderful through this 18 months and through such a hard time in all of our lives to be able to connect together. So thank you for being there, and thank you for all that we have shared during this past year and a half or so. Our theme for today is higher power. Again, I'd invite you during the service to pause me and watch the various videos that I will link you to. If you're watching on Facebook, you'll find the links in the post below this one. If you're watching on YouTube, if you go right down to the bottom to the first of the comment section, and all the links will be there. So please pause me and listen to our first song, which is Morning Has Broken. What do you think would happen if you had 3 hinged pendulums all swinging from the same point and you traced where they went? Please pause me and watch our next video. Do you think that's a pattern, or is it just random? I actually think it looks pretty good. And if you did it again, likely it would be different. Each pendulum starts in the same place, but each of them follow different paths. In this moment, we all start in the same place. And when we go out from church, or when we switch off the video and move on to the next bit of our lives, each one of us will create our own paths. We will each go our own way. But because we belong, we will always be connected. The journeys we make this week, the energy we give to the people around us or to the things that we do, will create an awesome picture and will make our world a brighter place. And all those paths and all those journeys are connected. Let's do a prayer. God, sometimes I think my journey feels a bit random. But when I belong to something, all the things that I do, all the lives that I touch are connected. Today, I can make a beautiful picture, and as it connects with the pictures of those around me, we will make a wonderful world. Amen. And please pause me again and watch our next video, which is A Million Dreams. Please take a moment to make yourself a part of our prayer. God, in this moment, I look not for answers, but for questions. It is questions that give me somewhere to go. Questions that take me to the essence of who I am. As I watch very young children, they never stop asking questions. The world is an awesome and wonderful place when you're young. I don't want to lose that curiosity or wonder. It is through life questions that I learn who I am, recognize my higher power, connect with God. Just for a moment, I become aware of myself. I let go of the calls on me for this moment in time. And instead of reacting, I will allow myself to be peaceful. Because when I feel peace within, I respond to everything better. I breathe in and breathe out. As I become aware of my breath, I become less anxious, less preoccupied. I recognize that I am alive. I let go of my futile attempts to rewrite the past. There is nothing I can do about what has already gone. In this moment, I center myself. What I plant today will become what I see tomorrow. I value what I have within me. I feel it increase and grow as I connect with the higher power which is God. I hear God speak to me, not from long ago, but here, today, now. I feel God's affirmation of who I am. A thought for those in my thoughts at this time. A thought for all with hard roads to travel, hard decisions to make, hurts which need to be healed. A thought for our church family, near and far. A light for the paths ahead, reassurance of our course, wisdom for choices we have yet to make. Amen. Our Bible story for today is in the book of Mark, chapter 4, reading from verse 26 through 34. Jesus went on to say, "The kingdom of God is like this. Someone scatters seed in their field. They sleep at night, are up and about during the day, and all the while the seeds are sprouting and growing, yet they don't know how it happens. The soil itself makes the plants grow and bear fruit, First the tender stalk appears, then the head, and finally the head full of grain. When the grain's ripe, it's time to cut it, because harvest time has come. What will we say the kingdom of God is like? Asked Jesus. What parable will we use to explain it? It's like this. Someone takes a mustard seed, the smallest seed in the world, and plants it in the ground. After a while, it grows up and becomes the biggest of all plants. It puts out such large branches that birds come and make their nests in its shade. Jesus preached his message to the people, using many other stories like these. He told them as much as they could understand. He wouldn't speak without using stories, but when he was alone with his disciples, he'd explain everything to them. And a reading called The Bridge Builder by Will Allen Drumchapel. An old man going a lone highway came at evening cold and grey to a chasm vast and deep and wide. The old man crossed in the twilight dim. The sullen stream had no fear for him. But he turned when safe on the other side and built a bridge to span the tide. Old man, said a fellow pilgrim near, you're wasting your time building here. Your journey will end with the ending day. You never again will pass this way. You've crossed the chasm deep and wide. Why build a bridge at eventide? The builder lifted his old grey head. Good friend, on the path that I have come, he said, there followed after me today a youth whose feet must pass this way. This chasm that has been naught to me, to that fair-haired youth may a pitfall be. He too must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend am I, building this bridge for him. And please pause me and listen to our next song, Shine, Jesus, Shine. I like to cover all the bases, to be in control, to have a sense of what's going to happen next. I will never live easily with uncertainty. Embracing uncertainty will always be a tough journey for me. One of the things that COVID has brought is a realization that there is no security in familiarity. 18 months ago, there were lots of things that just felt safe, normal. Nothing was ever going to change them. And in the blink of an eye, they change. Perhaps the security of familiarity has always been an illusion. John Shedd said, a ship in harbour is safe, but that's not what ships are built for. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been redeeming one of my pension funds. Part of the process involves a huge health questionnaire. Well, no worries on that one. I am incredibly healthy. My glow of that was very short-lived. I very quickly realised that being incredibly healthy actually is not an advantage when it comes to pension. Because I am healthy, I get less. There are perspectives on everything. Today's story is about planting seed. You have a part to play, but it's not all on you. This is a life picture. Play your part the best you can. Then trust your higher power. Trust God. Trust the universe. Planting seeds, if you want to do it right, is not just random. If you want a good outcome, it's got to be more than that. I used to coach schools football. In the very early years, we had a really important game. The ball was kicked by our opponents towards our goal. Just a soft, gentle shot, barely even a shot at goal. I turned away knowing that my goalkeeper would just pick it up. And then I turned back to see the ball trickling into our goal. Where's my goalkeeper? I looked a bit further away, and there he was having a shot on someone's bike. If you don't recognise what is important in your life, you risk losing it. If your life is going to grow, flourish, be what you want it to be, you got to step up. You can't control outcomes. Sometimes things work out. Sometimes they don't. But you want to know that you've given it your best shot. An old joke. A minister is kneeling at the front of a church, praying to God. "Oh God," he says, "the church is falling down around us and we have no money. Please let me win the lottery. I have prayed this prayer every day for the past year. Why won't you answer?" And suddenly a voice fills the church. "I have heard your prayer. How about meeting me halfway? Gonna buy a ticket." You can always do the groundwork. Please pause me and watch our next video, which is a remarkable manoeuvre of a trailer. Do you know that didn't just happen? They prepared for that. It took me a long time to understand karma. I thought karma was just getting what you deserved. Karma means way more than that. Sister Shivani from Brahmakumaris says, karma is the energy you create and send out into the world. Please pause me and watch our next video, which is called Ripple. What I plant today will grow. The ripples that I send out into the world will come back to me. I may not always see the results, but I trust that what I sow will contribute to a better world. Usually I'm invited to a lecture of podiatry students. They do a sort of case study of me. And one of the things I say to them is thank you for the difference you make in my life. Because every couple of weeks I go to the podiatrist, and usually I get a different student each time. They'll treat me and make my feet more comfortable, but often they will never see the outcome, because usually they won't ever see me again. And it's good for me to be able to tell them that what they did during that appointment made a difference in my life. Often you have to trust in what happens next. There's a story, possibly an urban myth, about a woman meeting Picasso in a market. She says to him, "Please, will you draw something for me?" "Sure," says Picasso. 30 seconds later, he hands her a beautiful sketch. He says, "That will be $30,000. "But Mr. Picasso," says the woman, "how can you charge so much? The drawing only took you 30 seconds. "Madam," says Picasso, "it took me 30 years. Every day I am growing in my life. Katy Perry said, "I hope to evolve every day and be a better version of who I was yesterday." During the marriage debate at the General Assembly, I was thinking, I feel so disappointed for people whose God has not spoken for 2,000 years. Life, faith are dynamic, evolving. Here is a fascinating thing about fish. Fish can grow as big as their environment allows. If you have a small fish tank with lots of fish, the fish will stay small. If you have a big fish tank with few fish, the fish will grow bigger. A picture for life. Limited environment, I grow less. Expand my environment, I grow more. In Frozen 2, Matthias says, "Be prepared. Just when you think you've found your way, life will throw you onto a new path." Let's do a prayer. God, I am aware that the best way to predict the future is to create it. I don't know what lies ahead of me, but I do know that what I sow today will influence what happens tomorrow. Today, I will push my environment as big as I can make it, and know that you can make it bigger still. Amen. And please share a moment for reflection. If you want to pause me, our moment for reflection music is called Maybe by Yeruma. Thanks so much for tuning in today. It's been lovely to connect with you. I hope the week ahead will be a really good one for you. We're going to close our service listening to You Raise Me Up, and I've also linked our closing prayer. May God's blessing surround you today. Take care.